Okay, hey, what's up, guys? Carsaurus here, and today we are introducing you to the first episode of the Carsaurus podcast, or I guess more specifically, the Woodfield podcast. Each one of these podcasts will be reviewing about 1 to 3 episodes of Woodfield. Today we'll be reviewing episodes 3 and 4, and we're going to be skipping over episodes 1 and 2, because we don't talk about those episodes, because they're like a storytime animated sort of a format, so they don't really count as episodes. So yeah, today we got me, obviously. I'm the creator, writer, animator, and more or less the main voice actor on the series. Okay, so we have Dan.
Call me AJ.
We have Dan, who is not on the show, but has been on the channel multiple times. So yeah, he's on the on the podcast. And we got Alejandro, who is the current voice actor for Johnny. I'm calling you Alejandro. Suck it up. We got Sammy as well. Alright, so episode 3.
Dude, speaking of rabbits, I wanna get Judy Hopps. Let me tell you what. Shut up.
Episode 3. I'm gonna be real. I do not like this episode. It is a bad episode. Don't watch it. Anyways.
I mean, as soon as you said that, people are gonna go, yeah, watch it.
Well, that's your own fault. Viewer discretion. There's a lot of violence in the episode. Some people die. You know, very gory.
You don't specify that.
I'm kidding. That doesn't happen in the episode.
Discover, you know. Discover. Does that happen in future episodes?
Is that gonna get demonetized? You're gonna get
There's like
demonetized.
whole lore behind.
No, that has not. No one's died on the action note except for that one time Squidward got hung in episode.
You're getting demonetized.
Except for that one episode where Squidward got hung in episode 12.
Monetized.
You're gone. Dunzo. Get out of here.
Okay, so episode 3 is based off of a comic that I made back in 2014. It was my favorite comic of the comic series. So I guess quick history lesson on Woodfield. Woodfield was created back in 2014 as a comic series done on paper with pencil. And there are about 11 different little shorts short comics that we made, or I guess that I made, really. And then the series was discontinued. And then the second episode of the comic series was basically what episode 3 was. And it was my own personal favorite of the series. So I wanted to adapt it onto Woodfield when creating Woodfield, or I guess when creating the animated series of Woodfield, but it did not translate well because of how early I did it, and you can see why I don't like it. Very bad editing.
Emphasis on the bad editing, honestly.
Yes, very bad editing. We got the greatest iMovie transition ever.
You know what? Hey.
We didn't have a montage.
Criticize it all you want, but like, look where you are now.
300 subscribers.
It's so much better now. Episode 3 is like a time capsule. You can see how crappy everything was. Very, very bad. Anyways, so like it was not a good adaptation. There were other episodes that have been adaptations. Like I'll give a quick example: episode 9, episode 10, episode 15, I think, and I think those are the only adaptations so far. All those episodes are actually fairly good, and I like those episodes because they're made later in the series when I had way more experience and knew what not to do, like with episode 3. But I digress. Like what episode 9 did was episode 9 took the events that happened in the comic and expanded it. It had what happened before the events in the comic, so Harrison winning the jackpot, and then what happened after the events of the comic.
Whoever's moving around, can they, like, stop?
Oh, sorry, hold on.
What happened after the car crash or the events in the comic. Harrison going to court, and that made a fine episode. Same goes for episode 10, except it's more emphasis on what happened before. Basically, the car ride up to, shut up! Basically, the car ride up to the, the vacation spot. Anyways,
The sounds of sleeping, of suffering, and of probably chewing pretty soon.
Yeah.
anyways, sorry. Yeah, that's why I really don't like episode 3. Who wants to voice their opinions on episode 3?
It started off good with the intro, and then after that,
Train wreck.
not
Quite
that.
literally.
Yeah, quite literally a train wreck. Animation-wise, I mean, I guess the frame rates has improved in the later ones, but this one is just, I don't know. It's kind of
lacking.
it's lacking. It's kind of entertaining, but it's more confusing than anything.
Oh yeah, that's very confusing. I don't even know what's going. I don't think.
There's literally just a guy who's like, "Oh, let me have a train."
Freaking toilet noise in the background.
Well, yeah, I heard that too. but whatever. So yeah, it's very confusing, and that kind of eclipses the entertainment aspect of it, or lack thereof.
Yeah. Who else wants to voice their opinions? I heard Daniel saying he wanted to.
Without using any naughty words, because this is a Christian server.
Yes.
You're killing
have
me.
some words. I founded it. I found all this.
Okay.
See, Daniel
Built this
likes
empire.
to take he likes to take credit for a lot of stuff that he actually didn't do.
I was Daniel. What?
Dan.
I don't
Dan.
Oh, sorry, Dan.
Sorry. Yeah, Dan. Wink,
bitch.
wink.
Okay, Dan, what did you want to say?
Yeah, sorry, Jerry. What did you want to say?
Anyways, yeah, I founded it. You know, I started this.
Yeah, of course you did. Sure.
Yeah, don't mind me, the creator. I'm right here. Who else wants to voice their opinions on episode 3?
I'm done voicing
I
mine.
think we got it all, Chief.
Alright, no more
I don't
opinions.
have anything to add.
Well, let's just say
That
this.
was quick. If no one else has opinions, then I have more.
You
I
have
just-
more?
Quick.
Please stop
Yes,
talking.
I have more.
God,
Go,
please.
Sam.
That was good,
Go,
you know,
Sammy.
Okay, so basically, as a question I have for the creator, kind of one-on-one interview, what was with the scene with the little girl?
Yes,
who
I'm
was
right here,
just
Matt
watching the
Groening.
train?
Matt Groening right here. Sorry.
Like the scene with the little girl, she was just randomly watching the train for no apparent reason.
It was a reference to episode 1. There's some character who was supposed to be my sister, that sort of looked like a rat or whatever. And as a callback to episode 1, I brought her to this episode. No, sorry. The girl, the way how I drew her looks like a rat. My sister does not look like a rat. Sorry. No! You gonna freaking throw up or something? Sorry, the reason why we had her there was
Does
because
anyone else want
in episode 1 we had this girl who was supposed to be my sister. I kind of drew her very ugly like, but my sister not ugly in real life, and I voiced her with a
Well,
rat-like
that's
voice because I'm very unfunny. We decided to bring her back. For episode 3 because it would be a fun nod to episode 1.
That's what you remind me. That's what you remind me of. Sorry.
Yeah, we brought her back for episode 3 as a fun nod, but if you watch this episode out of context, it looks really weird. Actually, you know what? Watching this episode out of context as a whole is
Watch this
weird.
full episode at table for.
Now, watching all the episodes in context is confusing.
Yeah, here's something weird. William is bald in this episode and has the voice of Kermit the Frog. Anyone want to comment on that?
Isn't that weird? Isn't that so quirky?
That's wacky.
That's whack.
That's crazy.
If anyone's wondering why William was bald in this episode, it was because he was a
Chrome
reused Chrome Dome.
Everyone's wondering why.
He was a reused model from episode
That's like an inside joke,
2.
too.
How do you reuse
no,
a model?
I-
It's 2D anime.
I said that because, yeah.
No, because I was so lazy, I didn't want to redraw a new character. All I really needed to do was just give him hair, and that's all I would have to do, but I was so lazy back then. I mean, like, now that would just take, like, 2 seconds to do, but back then, for me, that was, like, top-of-the-line stuff.
You're still pretty lazy.
Well, not as lazy as back then, so...
Yeah. Did you do the history homework, speaking of, Carson?
No.
Lazy?
Shut up. Okay. Moving on to episode 4. This is another weird episode. In a slew of weird episodes that was season 1. I'm just gonna quickly explain the plot. It starts out, there's a zombie apocalypse. They're wondering how the zombie apocalypse happens. It turns out
it's a zombie apocalypse.
Garfield, the cat, ate some rotten lasagna.
Character,
that John...
Article 13.
Article 13. Yeah, he ate some rotten lasagna that John gave him. And then now he mistakes brains for lasagna, so now he wants to eat brains.
Can lasagna rot?
I don't know. Oh, you know what's really funny? In the next scene, after Garfield
Woodfield series?
comes to the conclusion... After Garfield comes to the conclusion that brains equals food or whatever, he eats John's arm instead of his brains. It's kind of weird. Also, Garfield's body's missing.
Garfield's head eats John's arm.
Yeah, Garfield's head eats John, not Garfield's body. His body's freaking missing. It's great. Animation error. Much.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so they flash back, and they come to the conclusion of the classic trope. They have to kill the host. If they kill the host, everyone else will go back to normal. However, I didn't want to straight up kill Garfield because I thought I would bring him back in a future episode,
And also,
which I didn't.
That's not family friendly, dude.
So we opted to kill him with, or I guess just temporarily like paralyze him with a tranquilizer gun. And it worked fine, except it didn't look like a tranquilizer gun. Anyways, Garfield freaking like gets game ended, and then everyone turns back to normal. Insert an MLG meme that is aged horribly.
Why would you see that?
It was 2016. I didn't know any better. You would have done the same thing.
Dead in even 2016.
It was early on 2016. It was early 2016. I'm not giving myself slack for that. I'm not giving myself slack for that, but still. This episode's very lazy. Not as lazy and confusing as episode 3, but still lazy, and I still hate it. I don't like it. This episode is not based off of one of the comics that we did, fortunately. So, yeah, it was an idea that I just came up with randomly. And I have to say, this episode's probably the most out there episode. Like, again, when you say the plot out loud, it just sounds ridiculous and stupid. I mean, it could be fun if executed correctly, but it wasn't. Okay, who wants to voice their opinions on this episode?
Number 4?
Yeah, episode 4, the Garfield one.
Yeah, it made...
I inspired it. I didn't inspire the other one. I inspired this one.
As Danny
it
created
suffers
this
from the
episode.
same inconsistencies as the first episode. Plot doesn't make any sense. The events are just kind of sudden and random.
100%. Yeah. And William's still bald. So has a Kermit voice.
William's still bald, that's the thing.
Yeah, for some reason. Oh, we already spoke on that, though. We're not going to do it again. So, yeah. Anyone else want to voice their opinion? What's your opinion on the episode?
I mean, it's obviously you've improved from that point. Because, wow. It was
okay.
It was like
they always say
level. And then sometimes a frame would just be there for like a good 5 seconds of just dialogue.
They always say that you can learn from a bad example, and this is it's a very good example of the bad example.
Quick question. Which episode do you hate more? Episode 4 or episode 3?
I'd have to say episode... Ooh, I don't know about that one.
I know which one I hate more. It's episode 3.
They're both equally bad.
Because they were released like 12 days apart from each other, so no wonder They're both equally bad. I have my own reasons for hating episode 3, and I can explain why, because episode 3 was supposed to be perfect, but it wasn't. And episode 4, I did not have high hopes for.
What was your definition of perfect? I'm really curious about that one.
Not what episode 3 turned into.
Okay, can you elaborate on that? This is a podcast.
I mean, if I were
we're not just trying to get it to 10 minutes.
If I were to do the episode today, I would have had a before why William needs help with the train and why specifically he went to Jack. This is something that episode 16 did. They had a train ride in episode 16, and it's very explanatory why Jack was able to help him and why he needed his help. And there needs to be an after effect. So what happened after the whole mess that was the train wreck? What happened to Jack? What happened to William? Was this? Did it just end there with Jack in the water? Did Jack just drown? You gotta elaborate. It spreads the episode out. It makes it more of a thicker plot. I like to use this method for plots like the South Park. I guess this is a South Park thing, but it's a but then therefore plot, which works out very handy in this series. Which basically it goes like this. Say, okay, William is a conductor, but he needs help. Therefore, he goes to Jack. Therefore, Jack is going to help him. But then, Jack doesn't know how to drive a train. Therefore, William teaches him. Self-explanatory. That's
I'll tell you, the whole
sort of thing.
I really disliked the fact that the teaching thing was literally just like a transition slide.
Oh, yeah. There could have been an easy montage in there, but I was so lazy not to put a montage in episode 3.
Truth be told, this is coming from my pet peeve of mine, when people just kind of overmind very large actions in the plot, like, a whole training sequence, or maybe like a whole fighting, where they just summarize it very briefly, and they really should go into detail.
It is very lazy. Woodfield, I would say, nowadays is a little more known for their montages, because I think I've done a montage, practically, I pretty much do a montage, practically every episode now, of some extent, whether it's, a training montage, fighting montage.
Wow, that's great. Well, I think that's it for this episode.
Yeah, so we do a montage each episode, more or less. Mm-hmm. But back then, to save time and to make the episode crappier, we just said, screw that, or I guess it was just me, really. Screw that, and just put a title card that said, after training, and that's how we got around the animation.
And that's it. Thank you so much for tuning in today.
Well, please support our Patreon. Just give us your money.
No.
Do give us your money. That would definitely.
Please, we're poor. I'm living in a gutter right now. Literally, I'm recording this. There's a homeless guy right next to me. He's looking at me.
Is he cute?
No, he's not cute.
Is he cute? Is he?
He's looking at my feet. I think he might be Dan Schneider or something.
I mean,
haha.
Yeah. Sorry. Anyways, back to episode 4. Why was Garfield in the plot? I don't know why.
Well, that's because I can explain this one. See, Garfield is actually a very powerful spiritual. No, he's a very simple Bible.
What? Say again, Sammy.
Garfield is a very important and powerful spiritual figure who appears in books such as the Bible.
Okay, why is Garfield in this episode?
Can I go take a shower now?
As the creator, I do not know why. Specifically,
you were obsessed with Garfield. Period.
Yes, I think that's where it boils down to. I just wanted Garfield in the episode for some random reason.
It was my fault. I added Garfield into your life, and I wish I took that back.
Yes,
See,
Daniel is the creator of the channel. I mean, Dan.
Take credit for everything.
Jerry.
You're like God. You created it all.
Yeah.
You're like,
No. Daniel is Alejandro. Daniel is not like God at all. He created God. You see what I'm saying here?
Bro, this is blasphemy. If God were to watch this, he would be angry.
Dude, you know those suicide bombers? Isn't that blasphemy?
I'm gonna go take a shower now.
Okay, folks, we're gonna end this episode here.
Yeah,
thanks for watching.
Right.
This is probably about like 10 minutes long.
It was
Podcast
15.
takes a lot of editing.
This was like 15. There's like, I don't know, 30 minutes of footage. It was like 5 minutes of actual.
When was the last time?
I'm actually at 41 minutes because I gotta edit this all down.
41 minutes. Thank you so much for having us.
Okay.
Yes, thank you guys so much. Kisses for everyone.
See you next time. Next time we'll bring some
Please don't come back. Please. Carson has kidnapped both of us. I could be sleeping right now. I have.
And he's gone.
He's gone.
He's dead.
Okay, guys, we're gonna end this podcast here. Thanks for watching. We're gonna do another one maybe. See you next
God,
week.
please, no, not another one.
Like it or not, we're gonna record it probably right
I'm
after
begging
this one.
you, please, not another one.
But we're gonna upload it
I
next
have a
week.
wife and kids to feed.
No, too bad. You're not gonna see them. Sorry, Helen.
I mean, I know. Her
Hey.
name's not Helen. Her name is Dan.
Dan?
Her name is Margaret Thrasher.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, guys, see you in the next one. Bye-bye.